an investment committee for November 6, 2025, and our first order of business will be to approve our minutes from September the 4th, and I'm going to call on our Vice Chairman, Paul Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I reviewed the minutes and find them in order and motion to approve them.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Public comments, next thing up, and I have had no requests for public comments, so we're going to move on to our investment report, and I'm going to ask Michael to cover that for Mr. Beatty tonight.
Good evening. I'm going to cover the investment report for our trustee, Ted Beatty, and then after that, I'll move on to the fund condition report. But they did bid about $10 million worth of CDs this week. You can see that on your iPad. They did award that to First Bank at a rate of 3.95. So we're still getting a pretty good, decent yield on our money there. So that's good. And then I was looking for the LGIP rate. The LGIP rate is still around 4%. So we are still earning quite a bit of investment income, even though the Fed did lower rates. So, but also as a reminder, we did budget pretty conservatively on our investment income. So we do expect that to come in over budget. So, but not a huge report on that, but that would be the investment report.
Let's go ahead and vote on the investment report. Do I hear a motion or do I hear any questions? I have a motion and a second, Commissioner Johnson. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, go ahead, Michael.
All right, so next for the fund condition report, the first thing we'll look at is the revenue report. On the first page in the bottom right, I know that's small, but we have started collecting property tax. And so if you can see, we're right on track where we should be. We've collected 6.78% of property taxes, which is right in line with the previous years, as you can see on the chart down there. Also on our revenue report, we're flowing right for all of our other funds. We're going right where we should be at this time of year. And then the other thing I'll note, and I mentioned this last month, is our sales tax for the county and the schools continues to be up. But as a reminder, one of those reasons for that too is the state lowered their administrative cost that they charge to collect that sales tax for us. So that is up for two reasons. One, obviously growth in prices of the county, but it's also up for the reduction of those administrative fees. Additionally, tonight, the one thing that I don't have on your fund condition report is the fund balance report. I'll be glad to read that number to you. We do have, I believe, two amendments tonight that have items coming out of fund balance. When we get to those, I'll be glad to read you the unassigned fund balance for the general fund or for the applicable fund we're taking it out of. But I will have a more detailed report for you next month on that. And that's my report.
You've heard the report. Any further questions for the director? Have a motion?
Second.
And a second to approve the report. Any further discussion? Commissioner, you're recognized.
Thank you. My concern is there's a lot of uncertainty right now with respect to a certain report that we heard in the commission meeting. There is uncertainty from the property management side, from the list of items, both on the county side and the school side. And that's a substantial amount of dollars, and I'm trying to assess the long-term implications of that. And that would probably go in part to a capital budget type model, which obviously ultimately impacts, along with the revenue side, our ability to pay for different projects. So, and that obviously then affects our fund balance, et cetera. So I'm trying to get a sense. We learned in property management, we have a jail, $300+ million. We've got $300+ million in schools. We're being asked tonight to provide $50 million basically in TIF funds that we would not otherwise collect. We are being asked for another whole list of items, And I'm trying to, and if you can go to the property management, you can watch property management, and you can see kind of what is being contemplated by the various offices, various folks within the county government. And I'm trying to figure out our general capacity to pay for all of those items, you know, within a year, because all of that's probably within, the schools are within a year, at least based on the projection I have. The others can be spread out a little bit, but I'm trying to get a sense for our overall capacity to begin to pay for some of these items as they come up. I mean, the ones that come up today are the TIFs, okay? So, and that's basically foregone revenue, almost at elementary school. And I'm trying to figure out how ultimately, because revenue is not going to do it by itself, how are we going to ultimately pay for that? And so that's kind of the $64,000 question, I guess. But I guess the question for Michael then would be, what does the capacity look like? And I'll wait just a second. What does the overall capacity look like? Is it going to be possible to, you know, with revenue, with our borrowing capacity, et cetera, what does that look like with those kinds of obligations, projects, et cetera, coming online over the next year or two or three? And in particular, I'd like to look out maybe a year or two, because that's really where a lot of the big hits start to seem to be coming into play. So I'm curious if you could comment on our borrowing capacity, perhaps, our ability to, you know, use fund balance. How are we going to meet that potential need for $600, $700, $800 million?
Short answer is, for $800 million, you would have to have a tax increase. That's the short answer of it. I don't, that's a lot of money, right? Our operating budget with county schools combined is about $900 million. So we'd be having to come up with, you know, way to finance essentially our entire operating budget if you're looking at it from a dollar amount perspective. But as far as fund balance capacity and as far as borrowing capacity, I'll say two things. One, your borrowing capacity is only limited by your willingness to raise taxes. And then the second limitation is your tax base as far as our borrowing capacity, right? But if we assume a no tax increase, then that depends on current interest rates and things like that. So we do have some borrowing capacity, right? I can't give you an exact dollar amount. I can tell you it's not $500 million. It's probably less than $100 million as far as without us having to tweak the tax rate or something like that. As far as fund balance, I think that depends on how willing you're willing to spend down the fund balance. I wouldn't be comfortable spending down, you know, more than a few percent based on the uncertainty coming up of several things. But as far as the capacity for $700 or $800 million, I can't see doing it without some type of additional revenue, whether that's taxes or an additional state revenue. I don't know if that answers your question because it was pretty broad.
It does, and I'm just trying to get kind of a sense and to tee some stuff up, because, I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty with respect to the comptroller's report right now. I've not seen an audit report or anything else. It's been through 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. So we don't really know what those numbers look like at this point, what kind of adjustments need to be made, et cetera. And, you know, with that uncertainty, I guess the question, have we booked any kind of reserve or anticipated reserve with respect to that potential issue?
We have not allocated any type of reserve. Obviously, our reserve is a healthy fund balance, right? Now, as far as if you wanted to allocate that to something, you know, we could definitely do that, but that's about the only reserve that would come to mind that would be of note.
So at this point, there's not a reserve until we see a report or some numbers from the appropriate folks. It's kind of hard to assess what that reserve would look like, if there is one.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, you have a motion and a second on the floor to approve Michael's fund condition report. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up is the item 5, risk management financial reports.
Good evening, Chairman,
Good evening.
Commissioners. $264 fund for the month of October 2025. You see revenue, $1,884,393. Expenses, $2,499,505. Revenue less expenses is $615,112. The total for the calendar year, $20,406,761 in revenue. Expenditures, $24,770,504. Revenue less expenditures, a negative $4,363,731. And for the fiscal year, you have in revenue totals $7,971,981. Expenditures, $10,706,987. And your revenue less expenditures, a negative $2,745,006. On the 266 fund, you'll see that for the month of October, you had a workers' comp, $123,441.80. OJI, $263,673.85. Total for the month, $387,115.65. Year-to-date, workers' comp, $126,755.02. OJI, $423,725.11. And for the total year-to-date, $550,480.13. Legal expense for the month of October, you have $19,465.30. And that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion to approve. Second, Commissioner Johnson. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, has there been any analysis with respect to the comptroller's presentation? Have you done any at the risk management group? Have you done any analysis?
Analysis is as far as the insurance and stuff?
Any insurance that,
Yeah.
or bonds or anything like that that might come into play? Have you done any research into that?
Well, I haven't done any, as far as, you're talking about like grants and bonds, or, what we can do to make it.
No.
We do have a blanket bond for the county and to cover some of our elected officials. That, to my knowledge, right now to the situation, it would not be applicable based on the way the bond is written at this time. Typically, that's in a situation where there's some type of missing funds, and that so far right now has not been alleged. So that the bond that Ed's office has so far would not be applicable to the comptroller's report at this time.
We have insurance on that. The only person that has a bond now is the trustee's office, because to bring everybody up to the same level as the trustees, because he handles so much money. So he has a bond, everybody else is under an insurance policy.
Any other questions for Mr. Elam? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ed.
Have a good evening.
Item 6, amended and restated resolution regarding the economic impact plan for Keystone development area. And I'm not sure who you, we do have a representative here that's coming on up. Welcome. Thank you. Please state your name and position and go from there.
My name is Bart Klein with Klein Swinney Associates. We're the design firm working on the Broad Street Development Project, also known as Keystone. So here to give a presentation on status. Make sure this all works. As many of you know, in 2024, we were before this body on this project. I had a TIF agreement approved for the project. You guys have seen the construction work going out by the city at Town Creek. For the last year, the development team and the city have been working through different elements of the development agreement, from schedule, design, planning, financing, all of those items. The main thing, the reason why we're here today, is we're not changing design, we're not changing what we're doing in terms of the quality and how much. It is an adjustment to the TIF. And it's not an adjustment in cost or in time frame. We're taking one TIF and breaking it up into three separate components. The reason it's broken up into three separate components is because our development is comprised of different building types, from a hotel to a condo to an apartment. And so the project can be financed, it has to be broken up because different financial institutions finance different product types. That's specifically what this is about. This same development and presentation has been given to City Council, where it was approved. The IDB approved. We went to Property Management and Steering. We're in front of this body. We've had favorable results through every committee with the hope to go to Commission next. This presentation is the same presentation, so some of this stuff I'm going to move through fairly quickly because it's not relevant to the conversation, but I wanted you to see the same information. All of this information, the approved development agreement and the TIF agreement from the IDB, has been submitted to County Finance and to Council, and many of you have that as well. And y'all have either met with me or John Harney or Matt Taylor to talk about specifics. So what we've been doing for the past 8 months is really getting our ducks in a row to start construction. Main items is we've had a PUD approval. That's a plan unit development with the city. So last time you saw this presentation, you saw sketches of what the vision is. What you're seeing today is actually what we're building, what's been approved, and what we have to build for this development. In addition, we've completed about 90% of our conversation with WGNS. What you may remember is we have to build WGNS a new facility across the street, relocate WGNS in that facility so they can walk over and we continue hearing about the Blue Raiders. It can't stop. We've also got our equity team to the table on this, been through all of the elements regarding financing. We've also completed schematic design, 25% of the contract documents, reached out to a local general contractor, got pricing, confirmed that all our money that we have associated with the development is what the market is bearing right now. So basically, we've gotten our ducks in a row. The team is the same team on the development side that was in front of you in 2024. Todd Seifert with HRP is in the audience in case you have questions. SEC's providing civil engineer, Klein Swinney Associates providing architecture and engineering. Same team members. The new team is Boulevard Capital, Jim Darter and Jonathan McNabb. They're our equity group. They're the new add to the team. They're bringing the equity and financing to the team. Obviously, you know John Harney and Jacqueline, who are helping with the real estate transactions and brokerage for the project. So again, the proposed is where we were in 2024 versus provided. We haven't changed anything about what we're providing. We still have the hometown heroes aspects. If you remember, we have a 5% reduction in rent rates and in condo cost for teachers, police officers, and firefighters on site. So when we talk about breaking the TIF up into three separate sections, this image shows the three separate sections. In green, you have the multifamily, roughly 30,000 square foot of retail, the Plaza Park, the WGNS, and a 350 stall parking structure. In yellow, you have the condo building, the for sale product with a 350 stall parking structure. In red, you have the hotel. So the TIF put everything together. It just separates it up because there's different financial institutions and equity partners behind the different deals, and they cannot overlap. So basically, it's like for your home, to get a loan to build your home, is not the same person you go to get a loan to build a school building. They're two different entities. They fund two different things. This is the old site plan. This is the updated site plan that was approved by the PUD. Just more refinement, but the same. These are the previous elevations, the vision. On here. That you saw before. This is the PUD approved. So this is the multifamily structure that sits by the Plaza Park. So what you'll see here is the product that you're seeing today is not something you would see in a suburban or greenfield site. This is a very nice product. It's 90% masonry. It's something any city is going to like to have in their downtown district. This is the back of that same building facing City Hall. This is the condo structure. This is the WGNS and structured parking building. You see WGNS top left hand. Kind of see this. There's signage. I'm going to go to this slide. So many of you, if we talk about TIF, so the first thing I can say is this property. Some of you know my family's from this area, so the old Hobby Lobby used to be a truck sales. The property we're developing on looks no different than it did 40 years ago because it wasn't incentivized for development. Right now, that property generates roughly $4,600 a year is what it generates for the county and the city. This project will generate $2.2 million a year. And the dedicated portion that goes still to the county, even though the TIF is going, is roughly $200,000. So the comment you said of not funding this or funding that, you're getting 50 times what you would now just by going forward. And then when it's done, you get more. And what a lot of people don't talk about is the residual. So when you start a TIF project in an area, development begets development. So if we look at Medical Center Parkway, projects like that, you've seen how one development happens and all of a sudden you got a lot of development. Well, so the first TIF happens here is going to spur the next 2 or 3 TIFs. All of a sudden you're going to start to see a 10 million, a 12 million income levels coming in to pay for the schools, to pay for the roads, which you're not going to have because it's been sitting there and it's been undeveloped. So in our opinion, this is a model project for a TIF. It's utilized for an area that has been undeveloped. The infrastructure is old. We have structured parking in this. We're in a dense urban neighborhood. This is very different from something out in the middle of a greenfield site. And we really feel that this is what TIF is for. This diagram shows the 3 separate TIFs and for each section of the project. That TIF, we didn't say how much it is, but it is based off of what is being built in each section. The proposed revisions to the development, so the infrastructure work, at one time the development team was going to perform the infrastructure work and be reimbursed by the city. Instead, the city is going to perform the infrastructure work. One thing that is really important to talk about is the clawbacks. So as there's 3 different sections, the city is required in the development agreement that there's clawbacks for the developer, incentivizing them to do each phase. An example, the condo building. In the condo building, they have to build the parking structure, but they also have to build 115 parking spaces in the structured parking garage for the hotel. When they build the multifamily, they have to demo all the other buildings on site, make it pad ready, and run all utilities. The reason the city and development team have negotiated that is the city doesn't want to be left with something half done, something they can't market, and they're incentivizing the developer to move from one phase to the next. This shows the different sites, and really in green, section 1 in the center, with the black is the condo, on the left is the hotel. This is the parcel, so we're looking at roughly 7.2 acres. Again, in the development agreement, one of the clawbacks is the developer cannot purchase all the property at once. He has to purchase portions of it, do things, then he gets the next portion. So it's a gradual approach, basically to protect everybody's investment. The schedule, so this is the previous schedule, what I would tell you, in 6 months, you will see roughly the relocation in the building of WGNS across the street from the old police building. And then in about a year and a quarter, you'll see construction of all the primary buildings. So really 2028, I believe 29, should be the completion of this project. That concludes my presentation. Any questions? Wayne?
You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Was there a TIF for Medical Center Parkway?
There wasn't.
There was not, right?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
John, was there a TIF for Medical Center Parkway?
Okay, so, and that seemed to have turned out okay without having done a TIF when that was a little bit slower development, et cetera. I'll just observe that. Has there ever been a TIF that contributed or paid $1 to the property tax or sales tax in Rutherford County?
One more time.
Has there ever been a TIF that contributed or paid $1 or more in property tax or sales tax?
There's not been a TIF completed in this county.
Okay, all right. How many have there total been so far?
There's been 0 completed.
Okay, but how many were approved by the commission?
I have no clue.
Okay. Let's see, what's the impact on the schools for this?
It's a positive impact because you actually get money to help build schools.
Okay,
And this is within the city
I was
limits.
talking in terms of students. How many students is this going to add?
Well, so this type of product is actually geared for professionals and kind of second homers. So you're not going to see many families that want to move to a downtown core. They're going to be young professionals. But on the property tax side, it's going to generate income to pay for those schools. And I'd like to address your question on Medical Center Parkway. So that's a good one. Why has development not happened here?
I would say it's timing.
No, it's because Medical Center Parkway, it's easier to develop. So what you're doing is
For a long time, Medical Center Parkway just sat there.
So your city, what you're doing is your city's growing like this. You're running sewer, you're running utilities, you're building new schools out, you're building police stations out because you're not having people build inside your existing infrastructure. So what this does is incentivizes and starts that seed. So if you can get everybody to start building in, sprawl reduces, overall infrastructure cost reduces. So left to our own demise, we go where it's easier to go, where it's more profitable to go, correct? But yet
Wait, you asked a question? So that's what happened with the hole in the ground, right?
Well, that's a good one. That's a good one, Wayne. Yeah, so.
I'm just pointing out. I mean,
I don't know what happened
there.
with the hole in the ground.
What happened with the first Murfreesboro, when you just tried?
The hole in the ground was COVID that I think, but I can't speak about that project. And nothing happened with this project. Basically, the hole of the ground, what that did is it made there be so many clawbacks in the development agreement on this one, it was not financeable. You understand? And so the last 8 months, we've been working with the city because they definitely want this to go forward on how do we get this to where it's financeable? And that's what this does. And you're never going to get there on the TIF. We've had this conversation 10 ways from Sunday, but I can tell you it works.
Well,
you look at East Nashville.
I wouldn't make that assumption. I'm just concerned that we have basically the fastest growing county, in Tennessee, maybe other places too. And it seems like most of these areas are timing. And in a sense, as the outer areas fill up, there's a little more development. You would think would start coming back in. I've seen it in other cities where you have gentrification and all kinds of stuff. And this is mostly apartments. So,
No, I wouldn't say that. I mean,
there's
you have
139 apartments. How
you
many?
have
Okay.
100 condos, you have roughly 230 apartments, you got 36,000 square foot of retail, you got 115 hotel keys, you got 700 structured parking spaces. This is the definition of a mixed-use urban project. That's what it is. You can spin it any way you want, but that's what it is.
I'm not trying to spin.
You are.
No, I'm actually not. I'm trying to get to the facts, is what I'm trying to do.
No.
And to kind of assess this on an economic perspective. In other words, in my view, the question is, if we delay and we wait 10 years, okay, and we've done this analysis on, I think it was this project before, if
Yes.
you waited 10 years and the project gets developed in some fashion, let's say somebody wants to come along and build more apartments or something, then after 10 years or so, it starts cash flowing positive to the county, and the county makes money because the property tax base is actually increased instead of, for a total of 20 years, the basically 75%, whatever the percentage is in this one, going to pay for infrastructure that basically contributes to a developer. So that's, and we have a difference of opinion, that's fair.
Yes.
Commissioner, can I, Bart, you said something earlier about this property's bringing in $4,600 a year right now. Is that taxable? And then you said that it would increase to $200,000. Is there any kind of timeline you can give us on
Yes, it's-
when that change would take place?
Yes, so once the project is complete, construction, as every project is complete, it'll go on the tax roll and it'll start generating money. So the minute it's done, it starts. And it's 2.2 million is what it'll generate, but then a portion of that is the deferred amount on the property tax.
Okay, I'm going to stop you for a second, and the reason I am is they've instructed us on these new microphones that we got that you're going to, you need to face that way just a little. I appreciate
Okay.
you turning around, but I want to make sure people hear you because this is important on how we
Yes.
address this and let our citizens know what we're doing here. But basically, I'm trying to establish some kind of timeline. So a minimum of, you said 2029, 28
Yes.
to 29 would be completion of all the projects, if I understood you correctly.
Correct.
So basically 4 years. At the end of 4 years, you're saying it would generate how much per year?
2.2 million, and of that, that doesn't go to TIF, the deferred amount that stays with the county is roughly 222,000.
Okay, one other thing I want to ask too. We had required our IDB board to not even bring or consider any projects that didn't give us at least a 3-to-1 payback ratio. Do you know what the ratio on this one works out to be? Or
It's like
not, maybe
50
this-
times,
I beg your pardon?
50 times
So you're saying it's 50 to 1, so every dollar I give you, you're going to give me 50 back?
in terms of 4,000 and the 222,000. So right now, if it generates 4,000 annually, by doing this project on the deferred period for 20 years, you're getting 222,000. I think if you multiply 4,000 times 50, it's roughly 200,000.
All right. Chairman Phillips, you're recognized.
Thank you. We've talked a lot about TIFs over the last year or so, but one of the values to me, as a Murfreesboro resident, one of the values to me is the revitalization of the downtown area. And it's hard to put a cost on that as it relates to government doing it versus the private sector doing it. And that's, to me, I can't explain how valuable that will be and what it will do to the downtown area over not only my lifetime, but my grandkids' lifetime, okay? So it's hard for me to put into words how important that is to me as a Murfreesboro resident as it relates to the revitalization of our downtown. And just the aesthetics of what we're doing with the park that's going in downtown and bringing people into the downtown area. It's hard for me to put that into words as to how valuable that is to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else on the committee got a question or comment they'd like to make? Recognize Chairman Harris.
Okay, so let's make this real simple. We've already agreed to this TIF, correct?
Correct.
Your financial institutions are simply saying we wanted to separate into 3 different projects so that we can assign financing.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we're not doing anything we ain't already approved.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the committee? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to proceed.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Call roll, please.
Commissioner Johnson? Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Piercy?
Yes.
Commissioner Serrano?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris? Yes. Commissioner Irvin?
No.
Commissioner Peak?
Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Bart. The next item is another TIF, Twining Station, and whoever the representative is that wants to speak for this one, please come forward. Welcome. If y'all would introduce yourselves and your association with this TIF.
Sure, absolutely. Good evening. My name is Madison Haynes, and I'm an attorney at Bradley in Nashville, and our firm represents the city of LaVergne on this TIF. And so Graham and I are kind of here to give a little introduction about it and what this project means to the city. And it's been a long time coming. And so I'll kind of hit a little bit of the highlights. This is a 17.6 and some change $1 million TIF for a mixed-use development project in the city of LaVergne that would be for, residential, commercial. There's also a fire station lot that's being included that the developer is committed to servicing the utilities and that will be donated to the city once that utility work is completed. So that's an additional benefit here. You mentioned the cost-benefit ratio for the other TIF. Corey is here from Younger and Associates, and he's been working with the developer on the numbers that you will have in front of you. But I just want to point out that it's a 4.85% or cost-benefit ratio, which is the highest that I've ever seen from a Younger report and from a study. Many of you know my law partner, Tom Trent. He's probably been to this committee meeting before a time or two, and he said it's also the highest that he's ever seen, and he's done a lot more of these than I have. This TIF also includes a 75-25% split between the county and the city, so the county will retain 25% of the post taxes. That's after the dedicated taxes that will come off the top. Right now, this property is, generating $651 to the county right now. And I won't steal Corey's thunder for later, but this is going to exponentially increase that. One important kind of clawback that was important to the city of, to LaVergne, and will be important to you all as well, is that this TIF is structured such that no TIF revenues are to be rebated to the developer until after all of the infrastructure is completed as part of the initial phase of what has to be done at the site. So they have 12 months from the time they close on the land to start that public infrastructure construction, and they have to complete it within 42 months. The developer is not able to transfer this TIF or assign it in that period of time, so they are on the hook for that. What is generally to be incorporated as public or in that public infrastructure is being determined by the city of LaVergne's development requirements for the type of housing and the type of commercial, and land is here with the developer. But we as the city and as their council wanted to just give kind of our introduction as well as to ask you for your support of this TIF and how important it is. So I'm going to give Graham a minute to kind of just talk about the history of the site and how the city ended up where they are.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a quick question?
Sure.
The clawback,
Yeah.
the land transfers, okay? Do the clawbacks provide that the land goes back to the LaVergne IDB or whoever it is if it's not completed within a period of time? Because that's just to give you a little background, that's why we always had the trouble.
Yeah, it's not, that's what I thought. It's not a free transfer, so they're paying for it. So it's just that they're buying the site and that they've gotten planning commission approval.
Okay.
And
and let's pretend, okay, let's say, so developer buys it, okay, developer has glitches, okay, just like a couple places here in downtown. And then the question is does the clawback allow the IDB board to repurchase it for what you paid for it? In other words, reclaim that land, because that's one of the things that has been a problem. And that's one of the things that, to their credit, the folks who were presenting just a little bit ago made the presentation. And those clawbacks, my understanding is the land comes back. It may not quite work that way, but basically, does the land come back? Or could it be repurchased or whatever by IDB? So it's not just sitting there forever, essentially, like we've had an issue or two around here.
It doesn't appear so, and that's when I read the documents. I haven't seen the purchase contract as much as the TIF, but Land is shaking his head no, that's not the case. I think that what Graham is going to kind of maybe give a little color to is that this has been a long partnership with the city and this developer in particular, because LaVergne purchased the land and has used this to craft this site into what they hoped that the potential would be. Instead of just letting it naturally develop into residential or, whatever it was going to be. They wanted to be really intentional about the site and where it is. So, Graham, I'm going to let you kind of talk about.
Commissioners, Chairman, I'm Graham Coates. I'm one of the aldermen for LaVergne. I've also sat on the LaVergne Planning Commission for 24 years. One of the frustrating things I had as a Planning Commission member is if the developer comes in and they meet all the guidelines, they meet the zoning, you basically have to approve what their plan is. I went to the mayor and we discussed this at length, and so he, along with other board members, put together the money where the city bought the property itself, and we have determined what's going to go on that property, along with equitable partners. We've had many heated discussions with Mr. Land, who's here, about what we wanted. And he has now come to with what we want, and he's going to build what the city of LaVergne wants. And again, $1 invested is going to return of 4.85. Tremendous number for not only the city, but the county as well. This will be historic for LaVergne as well as the county. And I'd like to say the Planning Commission unanimously approved it, as well as did the Board of Mayor Alderman. They unanimously approved this too. And we're here tonight to present our case and answer your questions. But this is a very good project for the county as well as the city. Any questions? I'll take them.
I've met with most of the commissioners in the room and wanted to just kind of start at the beginning for some of the gentlemen that I have not met with. Our project is...
Please state your name.
Excuse me, this is Land Elliott Equitable Property Company. This is our project. It's called 20 Station. It's 77 acres on the west side of I-24. You can see here, I think one thing that maybe Graham didn't point out, but part of the intentionality that the city of LaVergne had with this particular property is the public investment in the extension of Sam Ridley and Blair Road. Blair Road is currently a 2-lane road, and the city is expanding Blair Road to 3 lanes. To 3 lanes. And Waldron Road is being expanded from 2 lanes to 5 lanes. And so these 2 roads intersect just south or just north of Rock Springs Elementary, just to get you guys oriented with where it is. So we're proposing 164,000 square feet of commercial space, retail and office space, primarily retail. We are working with hopefully a 50,000 square foot grocer. We propose 630 units. They're a mix of single family townhomes and multifamily. and set aside 25% of this site for green space and parks. This is the master plan of the commercial component of it. You see all of the infrastructure and the roads and sidewalks that we're bringing into the site with the roundabout there in the middle. You'll also see parks and a walking trail around this development. This is the north side of the site. They're connected. You'll see down at the bottom, you can see the connectivity with the walking trail connecting the two parcels. So they're touching, but you cannot drive between the two sites. And the north side has our multifamily and townhomes in it. These are some images of the multifamily townhomes. These are just some of the demographics about the location. Just another view of the two sites. This is just talking about the strength of the residential community around it, which is, now driving to Williamson County, they've got data showing the sales tax dollars leaking into Williamson County and Davidson County. So this idea is to try to capture those sales tax dollars in the Rutherford County and the city of LaVergne. This is just the executive summary of the TIF proposal that's in the package, and then I'm going to turn this over to somebody a lot smarter than I am to explain to you the benefits of the TIF. These are the two parcels that we proposed for the TIF.
Hey everyone, my name is Corey Van Blaricom with Younger Associates. We worked on the TIF analysis for Land and his team. We got our first slide up here. Before we get into the TIF details, we'll look at the economic impact and what is generated by the development from the capital investment as well as the ongoing operations, the annual impact associated with it. So in the first slide here, you can see a significant capital investment is planned, $350 million, would generate a near $600 million one-time impact from construction. That's dollars flowing through the local economy as a result of the construction activity. Would support 2,356 jobs, paying $146 million in wages, generating local taxes through the spending of those wages on the local economy. And this is a one-time impact because it's being built. It wouldn't be built all at once, obviously, but over the lifetime of the development, this would be the impact that would be captured within the county and the city. Next slide. The annual impact, this is an ongoing, sorry about that. That's a sensitive mic. The annual impact from operations, once the development is fully built out, $244 million in annual economic impact flowing through the local economy as a result of the mixed-use development, supporting 1,513 jobs, both direct and indirect, paying approximately $51.6 million in wages, and the spending of those wages locally, as well as the direct taxes captured within the development, totals $7.6 million. I'm going to go through a lot of numbers, so I don't want to bore you all to death with it, but we'll try to move quick and keep it brief. So then the important part is the property tax. That's what we're here to really discuss. Currently, the parcels in the development are generating, they're exempt. They're generating very, very little. I think Madison said there was $600 or something along those lines. That's usually something unique involved in there, but it's not. The property itself is generating virtually zero tax dollars. Upon completion, you're looking at a significant increase in the property values on site, therefore bringing dollars into the local budgets for the county and the city. This is, during the life of the TIF, $600,000 for LaVergne, $2.2 million for the county. After the TIF is over, all of those revenues will then go back to the city and county, and you're looking at $11.4 million for the city, almost $40 million for the county. Sorry. So the TIF, tax increment financing, is an incremental property tax vehicle used to support the infrastructure and development of the public assets that would be really the burden of the county and the city to develop if not for the use of a TIF, which allows the developer to then fund these public utility infrastructure costs. This 20-year TIF withholds the debt service and an admin fee, designates 75% to the TIF, and the remainder, 25%, will go back to the city and the county. So even though the property is generating $0 right now, there will be a net increase, a significant amount that will go to the city and the county, to their bottom line. What a TIF would mean for LaVergne, we're here for the county, but just to mention it, $550,000 almost in admin fees to execute and administrate the TIF, coverage for their debt of almost $400,000, and then the remaining TIF balance that will go to the city is $2.2 million during the TIF. That's the total over the 20 years. Yes. And what it would mean for the county. The admin fee of 5%, $418,000. The coverage of debt, $8.1 million. And then the remaining balance that goes to the county of $7.5 million. So here's how the TIF works for Twinning Station. 75% of those incremental taxes generates roughly $32 million in taxes over the 20-year period. The net present value of those funds is $17.7 million. That's essentially what is going to be used and spent on the infrastructure. Public roads, utilities, sidewalks, safety, lighting, those sorts of things that will be approved by the city and the county. Those are public uses. And but for the TIF, as we all know, and as the previous presenter has talked about, the rising cost to develop have made it punitive for developers to cover these costs and do their development. And so it's an essential vehicle that we've used and we've seen all across the state of Tennessee be beneficial for both cities and counties and developers to have a partnership to develop and bring quality of life amenities to the locals and generate significant economic activity. The 4.81 benefit to cost ratio is in fact above the bar that the Rutherford County is used to seeing, whether it be a pilot or any other type of incentive. And it is well above the average that we're used to seeing as well. We've done 50 plus TIFs probably in the last 4 to 5 years in the state of Tennessee, and this ranks at near the top of the cost benefit ratios. It's not just the difference in what the taxes were versus what they will be. It's actually, the ratio is based on how many dollars are going to the TIF versus the local taxes that are generated by the development. So that's sales tax, direct property taxes, the debt service, et cetera, et cetera. And lastly, an important note for a project like this that has a large retail footprint is the sales tax that will be generated by the development that will go directly to schools and support the school system for the city and the county. You're looking at $2 million allocated to the county. The total direct sales tax annually is $3.2 million. The indirect sales tax through the spending of wages, roughly $800,000. Harder to pinpoint that number exactly, but still generates a significant impact and a significant revenue source. So a total of $4 million local taxes generated every year for the city and the county. And the county's portion, 50%, which goes to schools, would be $2 million. Over the 20-year life of the TIF, $40 million, a significant bottom line increase for the school system. And then, of course, after the TIF is complete, those taxes are still going to be flowing, as well as the property taxes that will hit the bottom line as well. That concludes my portion of the presentation. Any questions or comments?
Quick questions.
Sure.
Okay. How many TIFs have you evaluated in Rutherford County, you or your firm?
Sorry?
How many TIFs have you evaluated in Rutherford County, you or your firm?
I don't have the numbers in front of me. We've looked at a few.
Okay. So you look at a few and you probably come up with similar numbers. Seems like I've seen similar numbers on prior TIFs presentations as well.
What do you mean similar numbers in what regard?
Multiples of, investment and all that kind of stuff along those lines. And I guess what I'm trying to get is how much of the benefits you've projected have been realized so far.
Well, we've worked on TIFs in the state of Tennessee for,
I'm talking about Rutherford County right now.
I mean, like you said, there have been no TIFs that have actually been executed at this point. But the methodology is sound, and like I've said, Tennessee is similar, the tax structure is similar across the state. And we've seen TIFs be very, very successful and outperform the projections most often.
In subdivisions, who pays for the infrastructure typically?
Sorry?
In an infrastructure, in a subdivision, who typically pays?
The people
for
buying
the
the
infrastructure?
houses. The people that buy the houses typically,
Okay. No, people who buy the houses.
because the developer passes on those costs to the lot, and that's what makes housing costs just be more expensive, typically in the for sale product.
Right, and so there's a taxpayer subsidy here, so that reduces the cost.
Correct.
Okay. And so, and just to clarify about the clawback, since you were saying that basically the land would not come back, that was a conscious decision that was made. If there is a bust, the land would just sit there, owned by the gentleman, and the land would just sit there until they decided to do something again. Is that correct?
Sure, I think that's correct. I think that the part of it, I was thinking on your question as I was sitting up here, and I think part of that is it's really hard to finance a deal with kind of that balloon kind of clawback of taking back the whole land if certain things aren't met. So, and the other kind of, to thinking about that, and then also I told Corey, I said I wanted to hit on the schools, is, there's 25% going to Rutherford County in this TIF. Last I checked, y'all's percentage of your property tax runs about 30%. It changes every year, but that was, I think, a recent number. I'm looking at the budget, guys, but that's a ballpark. When you talk about that sales tax number plus that 25%, you're really looking at your schools being totally funded in this TIF, and that was a conscious decision and part of the 75% to the 25% split. So I think that the question that I kind of pose and we talk about in these TIFs is, what is the county losing? What does the county have to lose here? Right now it's getting $600. LaVergne is paying to upgrade the roads for all these new rooftops, and not a dollar of Rutherford County property tax money is going to be rebated to these guys until they've done what they said they're going to do. And I think that's really important because they have to build this infrastructure. They have to finish this project, or at least if they're going to put in all the infrastructure, the project's going to get built. Right. Like it's a road to nowhere. Now, 2008 happened, right? So, but I don't foresee that in the next 12 months happening here with this project when they have to be completed and start on this, on their infrastructure. And so I think that's kind of, the question is, yes, it could sit, to answer your question, Commissioner, it could sit vacant, owned by the developer. That's the deal that's been struck with LaVergne, and the city believes in this project. And this has been Graham knows better than I do about how long this dream and this, what LaVergne is, this vision for this area of their community, what they're asking for. And if it sits vacant, then Rutherford County's still in the same position that it might otherwise have been. Because right now the city of LaVergne owns it. And, they're not looking to, if they were to develop it, it's not going to increase any property taxes, right? If it they will have been paid for. So LaVergne will be made whole, but I'm saying that in the property tax sense, that there won't be really any change.
Right,
So,
but just to be clear, you're assuming that it wouldn't be developed in the next 10 years or so. I mean, you're assuming that it stays undeveloped for a period of time, and sure, if it stays undeveloped for a period of time, there's no property tax, but surely there's somebody that would be willing to, put 630 apartments and a few additional infrastructure in there, and who knows, maybe in 10 years, and at that point, the county is to the good, basically, because the county's getting all the property tax. Okay, the developer would have funded the infrastructure at that point, probably, and at that point, you'd have the development and you'd have the infrastructure, et cetera. All you got to do is wait a little time. It's just a timing thing.
Sure.
But that's just my view.
but maybe, but the commissioner, but maybe, but I think the city of LaVergne is asking to move it along for this area, to line up the timing with their significant millions of dollars that they're putting in on the infrastructure, and they don't want to wait that long, right? It's a timing mechanism to spur development to make it match. You know, they're building this road. They want this sales tax dollars. I think Commissioner Wilson really in the legislative committee really put it best that, you know, this community is hungry for it, and that's what they're asking the commission to support.
Okay. Well, so one last question. Have you run this by the finance director for the schools? I'd love to hear his opinion as well of this. Have they run it by you, number one? And or you've been provided all the materials? And what are your thoughts on this proposal, since it's new?
I have not met with them. This is the first time I've seen this presentation tonight. If you ask if they met with the schools, I don't, typically they wouldn't meet with Brian. No, this is the first time I've seen it, so I have not met with them.
You recognize Commissioner Gooch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a few questions. So if it was left up to a developer without a TIF, just to come on in the next 10 years, would it be of this quality, do you think, or do you think it would?
Certainly not with the cost to build. I mean, the only way to make a product of this quality is with a partnership and a TIF to fund the infrastructure costs. The mixed-use model is very popular and more common across the state, and it's been presented here twice tonight. It's something that the locals want, and it's something that developers can afford to build with the partnership involved.
Understood. And what was, and it may have been on the screen earlier, but what is the estimated total cost of the infrastructure that the TIF would pay for? Was that figure on the?
It's a maximum of $17.6 million and some change. That's the cap. So there will likely be additional infrastructure costs, but at what point, when the county and city property taxes that have been rebated hit that $17.6 million, it's over.
17.6. Okay, for some reason I wrote down 31.9 million.
So that's the total TIF designation over the 20-year period, but the net present value on that amount totals to 17 million. So at a 6% discount rate, you can borrow off those projections to then fund the infrastructure cost. And as the TIF generates money over the 20-year period, it'll pay back that loan, and then which incentivizes the developer to deliver on their promises, because the only way the TIF's getting paid back is if the properties are built and hit the tax rolls and generate TIF dollars.
So over the course of 20 years, just to make sure I understand,
Sure.
the infrastructure cost from the TIF will be around 17 million.
Essentially, yes.
Essentially. Okay, do you have this slide? I don't remember seeing it.
Parts of that, excuse me, parts of that slide were in his presentation, yes.
Okay, my question is, and I know if it's not up there, the public can't see it.
The cost benefit number's in there, but I think you can back up to find that. I think the other number you're referring to is the
Well, what I'm looking at, that the sales tax, direct sales tax is roughly 62 million, and that was presented on the screen. The direct property tax looks like it's just a little bit over 19 million. So my question is that 19 million that we're collecting over the course of 20 years?
That's after
The 25%?
It's after the TIF. It's after the TIF on their, and it's on the SharePoint, so anybody can see that.
Okay.
On their slide, though, it says it's after, if I'm reading y'all's slides correctly, it says after the TIF designations. So I think they're giving you what it'll be after the 20-year. It says after the TIF designations.
Okay.
Let me see if it's better.
And what, I guess my question is, if the county or the city and the county is receiving 25%, what is the amount of the property taxes that the county will be receiving over that 20-year period? Okay.
This $19 million number you're looking at?
Yes, sir.
That's the total tax dollars over the 20-year period while the TIF is active.
Okay, so the 19 million is what we would be
Right,
collecting.
that's split between city and county over 20 years. That's the amount of local direct property taxes.
That answered my
Okay.
question.
Did y'all use just our current tax rate? Is that what you used?
Sorry?
Did you just use our current tax rate? Is that
Yeah.
what y'all used? Okay.
Yeah. Right, again, you could factor in for inflation, that's, you get into a whole other mess, but that's essentially, at constant dollars, that's the way it's evaluated.
Recognize Chairman Phillips.
Thank you. Build-out time, I guess you're going to start quickly. What's the build-out time? And are there incremental targets that you guys have? And how does that work as it relates to performance, as it relates to the build-out and the targets maybe for the build-out?
So when we close in early 2026, we'll start immediately on grading the site. So that'll begin on both sides of it immediately. The multifamily will be the first phase that will go vertical. We project that will be done probably early first quarter, maybe second quarter of 2027. And during that time, the city's going to be bringing the roads and doing the road infrastructure on Waldron Road and Blair Road, connecting it all together. And so we'll try to simultaneously with them finishing their project, start putting our infrastructure into 2026, early 2027. And I believe that Graham and Madison pointed out, we have 42 months to execute, 12 months to begin and 42 months to complete the public infrastructure component of this project.
One thing to mention as well, in regards to a TIF analysis or any analysis, impact, what have you, it's more a general guide. It's not meant to be with full precision, these are exactly what you can expect to happen. It's a guide of what could potentially happen in a snapshot today. And so that's something to consider. Don't get too bogged down with the specifics on each specific dollar. This is the hopeful and likely outcome and a guide for the 20-year TIF term.
Well, a comment just from the city standpoint, building on what Lan said. I just want you to understand that the city has funded the widening of Walden Road from I-24 to Smyrna. It's been funded. We went out for a bond, we have the bond, and that's in position, and we're doing the survey and the work now. And we're also we've just approved this week a $9 million road for Blair Road West Extension. So the city has got spend a lot of money to get the roads where they need to be to ensure this project functions correctly when it's finished. And it's been a lot of expense to the city, but we are looking forward to getting this thing moving and seeing some dirt moved. And we encourage you to help us with that. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, you can't see me.
You're recognized.
So, see if I understand this. So, property management approved it to send it to steering, correct?
Yes, it has, Commissioner.
Okay, so I believe, what was the vote, 6-1?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then you go to steering.
Yes, sir.
They approve it, and what was the vote?
6-1.
6-1, okay. And LaVergne approved it in the city council?
Unanimously, yes.
Okay, and then you're also saying you're going to do $40 million worth of infrastructure on roads?
Correct.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So everybody is in agreement on this except a couple of commissioners. So I've kind of heard all I need to heard. So Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve this.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the acceptance of the TIF. Do I hear a second? And okay, Commissioner Sereno. This many people here, I can't see. I can't see. No, y'all are fine. You don't have to run away. But is there any other questions for any of these guys before we let them go?
Yes, if I could.
You're recognized, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just so I'm understanding, over the course of 20 years, Rutherford County and I guess the city of LaVergne will be rebating back $17 million in property tax to pay for infrastructure.
I'm going to let y'all answer that, one of your representatives.
Am I understanding it correctly?
Almost.
Okay.
The total is that 31 million over the 20-year period, which will then be used to borrow 17 to pay for the $17 million worth of infrastructure. So the total over the 20-year period is actually the 31 number.
Okay. And then...
The net present value of those funds is 17.
Okay. And then over the course of that 20-year period, the property taxes that the city and the county would keep is 19 million.
Correct.
Not including the $62 million in.
All the sales tax.
Sales tax. Okay, I'm just cool with this, to be honest with you. My only concern, I think, was a statement that made by our finance director, is this is the first time he's seeing this, okay? Which he should have seen it way before.
I agree.
So I would like the motion to either be amended or changed that we approve this with the positive recommendation to the county commission based upon a thorough review by the county finance director, and that he brings any concerns to the commission. And of course, we only have a week for this. Can that be done?
Would you like to adopt that into your motion, Chairman Harris? If
So,
not, he could make an
Chairman-
amendment.
So Chairman Gooch, you're saying you want it to be contingent upon approval of the finance director?
Well, I think that this committee will approve it with a positive recommendation.
Okay.
But in the course of this next week, that our finance director has a full understanding and review of this, and that he will bring any concerns to the county commission meeting so that I'll be comfortable with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Here's what I'll do. So I will make a motion to give a recommendation from this budget finance based on the contingents that the finance director goes over all the numbers and presents it to the commission and the full commission.
With the development,
Yes.
yes, and he would bring any concerns back to the commission.
Just a moment. And do I have a second? Is that okay with you, Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Okay, now,
I just want to, as the counsel for the city of LaVergne, to address this question, I'll make a commitment that at least our teams will coordinate and have a meeting with the finance director in the next 5 business days, right? Then we're next Thursday, a week from today. So sometime before then, we will have a meeting with him to answer any questions that he has so that he can come 100% prepared to the meeting on Thursday.
That would just make me feel much more comfortable, and I'm sure other commissioners will feel much more comfortable. I don't want this not to happen, and then somebody's going to stand up on the full commission. If y'all met with the finance director, now we have, then all it's going to be delayed another month.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying?
No, I agree, totally.
Commissioner Harris?
Okay, I think I have to withdraw my motion.
No, you're fine. We're
Am
going
I
to leave it.
fine?
We'll leave it like it is. We just amended what you originally said. Please read it back to us, Teresa. Or Mike.
So I'll restate kind of what you said. So y'all would like to approve this TIF and forward to the full commission with a positive recommendation, as long as they make an effort to meet with the finance director between now and the commission meeting, and that direct me if I have any concerns to bring those to the full body of the commission next Thursday.
And that's okay with you, and also, is that okay with the second? Yes. Okay, so that is the motion that we will be voting on. That's his original motion. He just amended it himself. So that is the original motion.
That's how I have it.
All right,
And then the second was okay.
yes. Any other discussion from the committee on this? One thing I'll mention is this developer is the same one, since we've been talking about other TIFs, it's the same one that's been doing the one in Smyrna. And if you'll look at where they're at, they're moving along nicely. And I think, if not ahead of schedule, even with the amount of work that they've had to do there, they've made good progress. Any other discussion or questions? Call roll, please, Teresa.
Commissioner Johnson?
No.
Commissioner Piercy?
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner Irvin?
No.
Commissioner P?
Yes. Okay, motion carries. Our next item is item 8, a lease of the old Milton Ballfield. Do we have someone here to represent them? Played on that field a lot myself. You've knocked the tree down that we used to have to play the balls through when it hit the roof and play off of it.
Yeah,
Sir, but we plan on 2 more.
Okay.
Hi there. My name is Lindsay Reed. I'm the treasurer of the Milton Ladies Society. We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to fostering cooperation throughout our community. We would like to present to you guys the Milton Commons project. It seeks to transform the old ballpark property into a safe and attractive multi-use community space. Our plan includes cleaning up the unused backstop. There's some structures that are falling apart. We'd like to re-put one in with that's like a commemorative backstop that's useful as well, along with a walking space around the green, walking path around the green space there. We also would like to eventually put in a pavilion and a playground with a historical marker that commemorates Milton's ball field in the past. So that is our plan, and we're hoping to get that passed. We would like to be leasing this property from Mayor Carr, as he offered us the lease for $1 a year for 10 years. So, is there any questions?
Chairman Peake.
You're recognized.
It's been probably, now it's been 4 to 6 years ago, this property that's in discussion was actually in the hands of the state. And with the help of Mayor Ketron and our property assessor, we were able to get the deed back to this property, back to the county. At the time the state had it, it wasn't kept up, it wasn't manicured at any point. Somebody would bush hog it maybe once a year just to knock the flower weeds down, more or less. I spoke with these ladies on this project. They have a lot of good intentions. They're 51 members strong, I believe, in their organization. They're looking to maybe start a Milton Community Center somewhere in the town of Milton if it works out for them. And I would make the motion to support this 100%.
Have a motion and a second, and that's going to, what, $1 a year? Is that what they're leasing for? That's normally the...
Yes, sir.
And I will donate to $10.
It's $1.
It's for 10 years.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll
Make sure you
collect
get
that.
that
Just see
$10
Michael-
up front.
Just see Michael after the vote if it passes in. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I believe
Phillips.
this was approved at Property Management last week unanimously, if I remember right.
Thank you, sir. Any other discussion? Call roll, please.
Commissioner Johnson? Yes. Commissioner Piercy?
Yes.
Commissioner Serrano?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris? Yes. Commissioner Irvin? Yes. Commissioner Peake?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you,
Thank y'all.
and good luck on your projects. All right, that gets us to item 9, ASPCA National Shelter Grant Initiative Applications and Acceptance. Michael, you going to do this one for us?
Yes. Give me 1 second and I'll pull it up. So Michael Gregory was sorry, our policy director was sorry he could not be here. However, this is a grant we've applied for before, and so he's requesting, this is a no-match grant, and he's requesting to apply for $16,000 for this grant, and they're going to use it for kennel soundproofing and kennel improvements over at the Paul's building. And like I said, this is a no-match grant, and Michael said he was sorry he could not be here tonight.
And this is a request to apply.
And accept, since it's a no match, and he would like to apply for up to $16,000.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Call roll.
Commissioner Johnson? Yes. Commissioner Piercy?
Yes.
Commissioner Serrano?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris? Yes. Commissioner Irvin?
Yes.
Commissioner Peake?
Yes, motion carries. Item 10, General Fund Budget Amendment for Recovery Court. Welcome.
Good evening, Lindsay Davis, the Reentry Program Coordinator with the Recovery Courts. In front of you, you have a budget amendment for a grant that we have had. It's a no-match grant through 2026. We are going to be reallocating funds to the other contracted services to cover training and tuition for reentry participants who attend the TCAT classes. Any questions? I'll be happy to answer those.
And it's a no-match grant, is that
Correct.
correct?
Yes.
I have a motion to approve. Second, Commissioner Johnson. Any further discussion? Call roll, please.
Commissioner Johnson? Yes. Commissioner Piercy?
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris? Yes. Commissioner Irvin? Yes. Commissioner Peak?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Davis.
Y'all have a great evening.
Item 11, general fund budget amendment for the sheriff's office.
Good evening, Steve Spence, Deputy Chief with the Sheriff's Office. First Amendment is being requested for the financial year 23 virtual reality de-escalation grant from the Department of Justice and Bureau of Justice Assistance Grant to the Sheriff's Office. This amendment will reallocate rollover funds from last year's travel to pension. This is a no-match grant and ends September 30th for 26, requesting $3,014 be pulled from the revenue and placed into the pension line item.
Further discussion, any questions for, we have a motion to approve.
Second.
And a second, Commissioner Sereno. Any further discussion? Call roll.
Commissioner Johnson? Yes. Commissioner Piercy?
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris? Yes. Commissioner Irvin? Yes. Commissioner Peak?
Yes, motion carries. Please continue.
This amendment is to recognize revenue and expenses for the financial year 25 COPS Universal Hiring Program Grant. The Rutherford County will hire 6 deputies to develop a highly visible and proactive highway safety unit, requesting $250,000 this year from the grant, $208,033 from unassigned fund balance, and placing $331 and $380 into the COPS salaries, $20,546 in Social Security, $40,925 into the pension, $59,783 into the employment and dependent insurance, $594 into the disability insurance, and $4,805 into the Medicare line item.
Okay, any questions for Deputy Chief? These are grants that we have been doing for several years, which help us pay for our deputy salaries, but.
Yes, that's correct.
You're recognized, Commissioner.
Second.
All right, you have a motion to approve, Commissioner Sereno. He has a motion. I have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Gooch. Any further discussion or questions? And you're recognized.
Okay, so you said this is it says unassigned fund balance. Does that mean the grant money was put in unassigned and we're just bringing it out?
No, this is a new grant. It has a match. So that's us funding the match, our match portion of it.
And how much is the $250,000?
The revenue for the grant's $250. Right now, our match portion for this fiscal year would be $208,033. Now, as a reminder, our last COPS grant that we currently have, that match portion is being funded by the Opioid Committee. However, this grant did not qualify. What they're using this COPS grant for did not meet the nexus to qualify for the opioids. So that's why you're seeing it on unassigned fund balance. And so next year, if this grant gets approved, the rollover funds in next year will be a part of next year's, the matching funds will have to be part of the budget.
Any other discussion? We've got a motion and a second. Call roll, please.
Commissioner Johnson? Yes. Commissioner Piercy? Yes. Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris? Yes. Commissioner Irvin? Yes. Commissioner Peak?
Yes, motion carries. Item 13, please continue.
This amendment is to appropriate money from the restricted for public safety to move funds into the drug fund data processing equipment, asking to move $175,000 from the restricted from public safety to the data processing equipment line item.
Okay, you've heard the request. Any questions for the Deputy Chief? Not, I'll entertain a motion. Have a motion to approve and a second. Thank you, guys. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call roll.
Commissioner Johnson? Yes. Commissioner Piercy?
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris? Yes. Commissioner Irvin? Yes. Commissioner Peak?
Yes, motion carries. I think you've got one more item, right?
Yes, sir. We're requesting to reclassify opening captain's position in the sheriff's office side, reclassifying it into two positions, a lieutenant for the booking room and a legal secretary on the sheriff's office side. I spoke to Director Smith. We should have the money within our budget for this reclassification. We're unable to provide you funds because we don't know what the exact numbers will be till after we interview the candidates for these positions, if approved.
So let me ask a question, because I don't like adding positions during the middle of a budget year.
Yes, sir.
And basically, you've got an open position that's not filled, that you're making into two lower-level positions? Is that
Yes, sir. The
correct?
captain just retired September 26th, so we want to utilize it for two positions.
Okay. And you have the money within your budget to do this?
Yes, sir.
That's the problem we've run into in the past is, picking up employees or people given promotions. Of course, this is not a promotion. That's why I was trying to get what was going on.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You've heard the request. Any other questions from the committee? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion? Call roll, please.
Commissioner Johnson? Yes. Commissioner Piercy?
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris? Yes. Commissioner Irvin? Yeah. Commissioner P?
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Item 15, Juvenile Detention Center contract with Warren County.
Good evening. In front of you, you have a contract with Warren County for detention bed services. This includes the new daily bed rate of $200 per day per child. It has been approved by our board, as well as the county attorney has had an opportunity to look at it and has approved the language in it as well. So this is just the same contract that you've recently seen with the new county.
Okay, we've actually seen several of these in the last few months. Any further discussion or questions? If not, we'll entertain a motion. I have a motion to approve the contract with Warren County. Do I hear a second?
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion? Call roll, please.
Commissioner Johnson? Yes. Commissioner Piercy? Yes. Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris? Yes. Commissioner Irvin? Yes. Commissioner P?
Yes. Motion carries, and thank you.
Thank you.
Item 16, EMA dispatch MOU with the town of Smyrna, the city of Murfreesboro, and the city of LaVergne. I don't know who this stranger is coming up.
Chris Clark, Director of Emergency Management. Requesting tonight to enter in an MOU with Murfreesboro Cities, Town of Smyrna, and City of LaVergne concerning a unified dispatch study. For our share of this expenditure would be up to $35,000, which we have that in our budget.
Chris, I know you've gone to public safety on this. Have you talked to any other committees on this yet, other than this one?
Just public safety.
Okay. This is
Motion to
something
approve.
Second.
Thank you. Go ahead. And I have a second over here.
Second.
All right, 2 seconds. But any further discussion? Call roll.
Commissioner Johnson? Yes. Commissioner Piercy? Yes. Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris? Yes. Commissioner Irvin? Yes. Commissioner P?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, sir.
Item 17, ambulance service fund budget amendment.
Good evening, Brian Gaither, EMS Director. We are requesting to move $60,000 from our assigned fund balance into our in-service and staff development line item to pay for some individuals we're sending to paramedic school and a couple that we're sending to critical care paramedic class.
I have a motion and a second. 2 seconds. Any further discussion? Call roll.
Mr. Johnson? Yes. Mr. Piercy? Yes. Mr. Sereno?
Yes.
Mr. Gooch?
Yes.
Mr. Harris? Yes. Mr. Irvin? Mr.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Item 18, Health and Education Fund 141 Budget Amendment. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Kay Martin, Deputy Superintendent for Rutherford County Schools. We have one amendment for you tonight. It does include 3 grants in that amendment. This amendment increases budgeted fiscal year 25-26 Fund 141 revenue and expenditures to recognize multiple state grants. The first grant consists of the carryover money from the Innovative Model School Grants. This grant is in its 3rd year, and the funds will be used to provide 50% salary payment to existing CTE personnel, stipends for PBL work training, vehicle and equipment purchases for various CTE activities, and construction and renovation to CTE buildings and structures at multiple schools. The carryover amount of the grant is $8,889,685. The second grant is for the Public School Security Grant. This will require the fiscal year 25 carryover amount of $14,875 and new fiscal year 26 allocation $1,049,958 for a total amount of $1,064,833. The funds will be used to provide new threat assessment software and licensure, the purchase of flip charts, signage, radio equipment, repeaters and installation, weapons detection equipment, and resistant film. The third and final grant is the reoccurring fiscal year 25-26 State Special Education Pre-K grant. The fiscal year 26 allocation amount of this grant is $519,488 with no carryover amount for the fiscal year 25. The funds will be used for additional EA positions to assist our pre-K classrooms, a compliance specialist, additional training for teachers and EAs, sensory and de-escalation items, and supplies and materials for our pre-K classrooms. All of these grants have been approved by the Tennessee State Department of Education, and none require a local match.
Okay, you've heard the request.
Mr. Chairman, Health and Ed thoroughly looked at these grants, and so I move for approval.
I have a motion to approve.
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion?
Just a comment, at Health and Ed, I think it was the superintendent, Dr. Sullivan, that presented the grants, and I would like to say that Dr. Martin did a much better job tonight than the superintendent.
Well, you know, I noticed she did very well. I'm going to ask her to stand in for me some on our commission level. She does a very good job.
Let the minutes show that.
There you go. Any further questions for Dr. Martin? Not. Call roll, please.
Mr. Johnson? Yes. Mr. Piercy? Yes. Mr. Sereno?
Yes.
Mr. Gooch?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Irvin? Mr. P?
Yes, motion carries. If you don't mind, hold on a second.
Yes.
I'd like to move item 24 up while we've got them here and they won't have to wait. Item 24 is just a discussion of a joint meeting with the Health and Ed Committee and the school board on December the 16th. The Board of Education has requested that we have a joint meeting to discuss growth projections, and their consultant, Dr. Sullivan, had sent that request to me and Chairman Dodd, and we told them, we replied we would be okay, but we wanted to okay it with our committees first. Is there any discussion? I know Commissioner Gooch has a conflict with the date, but any other problems with meeting on the 16th of December?
No problems with the date. I would ask that if there's materials we're going to be looking at, that they be given to us like a week or two
Yes, sir.
ahead so that we can, have a chance to look at them and things like that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Any further discussion from the committee? I don't think we need go ahead, Michael.
I've got a question for the committee, and just to clarify for us. If y'all are wanting a joint committee, kind of like we do for budget? If that's the case, let's take a motion for me. That'll direct me. We'll need to put out an advertisement for budget to meet that night, and we'll take the roll, call the roll, we'll gavel in both committees Not that you have to take anything, but that way, if there's something that night you would like to take a vote on, but if y'all could take a vote on that, if that's what y'all would like, we'll treat it like we do the joint meeting in May. That way, if y'all would like to take up some business that night, you could.
Okay, do I hear a motion for us to have a joint meeting on the 16th?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
And a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? We will be meeting in a joint meeting with the Board of Education and our Health and Ed Committee on December the 16th, 5:30 in these chambers. Okay, thank you, Kate.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, that moves us down to item 19, the Opioid Board recommendations and budget amendments.
You ready for me, Mr. Chairman?
Please.
So on your iPads tonight, the Opioid Committee this week approved an additional, excuse me, $60,000 for advertising, and that's going to be to do mailers, get the zip codes and postage. I do believe when I looked at the minutes, they weren't sure it would be that much, but they went ahead and approved that much just in case. So that's what you see before you tonight.
I think they were estimating maybe 40, but there were some other miscellaneous costs, so we wanted to make sure we had all the money that were needed.
And just as a reminder, if they don't spend it, those funds right there that are right here, there's no time frame on those, so they will roll right back in. They will not go to waste if we end up spending the $40,000 like the chairman said. So it does make sense to go ahead and do that extra, but those will not go to waste. They'll roll right back to the opioid reserve funds.
Any other questions on this Rob board expenditures? I have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
And second. Any further discussion? Call roll, please.
Commissioner Johnson? Yes. Commissioner Piercy? Yes. Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner Irvin? Commissioner Peak?
Yes. Motion carries. Item 20, a budget amendment for return grant money for Parks and Rec and Fair Board. Michael?
So one of the unique situations that this is unique that I don't know that I've ever encountered since I've been here is part of what we do is we give grants and donations to the parks around the county, and we had the one specifically at Kittrell. I believe the chairman knows more about this than I do, but they had a board change, some change in administration, and long story short, they have returned some grant money back to the county that we divvy out, and so that board has requested that we put that back in our budget so that they can re-put that grant money back out to the community again. I believe Mr. John Marshall heads as the chairman of that board.
He is. Any further questions on that? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve. And a second.
And then one question, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
How much grant money do we have altogether? Is that 153,000?
So yes, we start the year typically, I mean, y'all vote on this, so it's 126,500. That's kind of been the same amount since I've been here. Don't ask me why we came up with that amount. When we add it, the new amount this year, they'll be able to dole back out to the community. It'll be 153,288.
Gotcha.
Any other questions? Call roll, please.
Commissioner Johnson? Yes. Commissioner Piercy? Yes. Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner Peak?
Yes, motion carries. Item 21, discussion of the finance department positions. Michael?
So as y'all know, our former deputy finance director, Mark Tucker, passed away. And, you know, those are big shoes to fill, and it's a big loss for our department. But over the last couple weeks, we've done interviews for that position, and so we have made an offer this week. We've made an offer to Justin Etling, who is sitting in the audience tonight. And so tonight, the Private Act requires that we vote on the deputy finance director position and the salary that we're going to offer. As you know, my office reports to this committee, and so tonight I would request that y'all make a vote to appoint Justin Etling, the deputy finance director, with a salary of $125,000.
One thing I want to mention too, Michael was not the only person to interview for this position. Sonia and also Lisa Nolan.
Julie Bratcher from the trustee's office and Lisa Nolan, the former finance director Lisa Nolan.
Okay,
sat in those.
excuse me. Any questions?
I got to ask.
Yes, go ahead.
So the guy that you pointed out in the audience, is that the guy that looks like he just graduated from high school? Or is that the?
We're going to have him come up if this motion passes, so you can harass him after that.
Don't scare him off. We haven't hired him yet.
He needs to get used to it.
Okay, any pertinent questions? Call roll, please.
Do we have a motion in a second?
I thought we did. Do I have a
don't think
motion? Okay,
Second.
thank you, Commissioner Gooch.
Commissioner Johnson? Yes. Commissioner Piercy? Yes. Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner Irvin? Commissioner Peak?
Yes, motion carries. And if you don't mind, please come forward, just say hi and introduce yourself. And
While Justin's making his way up, I will go ahead and tell the committee, I have asked Justin to start December 1st. I'll let Justin tell you about himself, but he does currently work at the comptroller's office, and so we're excited to have him.
Yeah, so I'm Justin Etling. I'm 26. I didn't just graduate high school. I'm almost done with grad school, so I've got a semester left, but hopefully that means I'll age well. So, no, but I'm born and raised in Knoxville, moved here in high school, been here since, so I'm excited to be a part of the community and to, serve in the community that I live in. So I'm just excited to have this opportunity, and I appreciate you guys having me. So,
thank you, and welcome aboard.
thank you.
And as Michael mentioned, that's some awful big shoes to fill, and we'll have a learning curve there, but we'll bear with each other as we go along. All right, item 22, budget amendment for OIT Register of Deeds.
All right, well, this is a request for a budget amendment that will transfer $95,000 from the Register of Deeds data processing line to the data processing line for OIT and that's the 317. So this is a joint project based on conversations that have been had for quite some time with the Records Commission and the Archives, Register of Deeds, and the Office of Information Technology. And this, there's a need to deal with the preservation of electronic records. So we have a plan, we've got a building, we've got archives, and we've got a really good process to deal with paper records. And now we need a process to deal with digital records. More and more records, actually the vast majority of records now, are born digital. They're used digitally, and they end their life digitally. So we need a way to preserve the records that are important. Judicial records, property records. We need a way to preserve the records that we need to preserve and get rid of, dispose of the records that aren't needed. And this is a joint project, and I'll let the Register of Deeds speak, but this is an opportunity where she saw a need, and she has a fund that is particularly for data processing things and preservation of digital records. And she saw the opportunity where she could solve the problem for her office. And instead of being selfish and solving the problem only for her office, she has proposed to participate in this solution that will also help solve the problem for the rest of the county. So I know from my perspective, I'm greatly appreciative of that from the OIT's perspective, but I'll let her speak.
Just to be clear, this is not county general funds. This comes from a restricted fund, EDP fund, $2 per document that the registers records. And that has collected over the course of time. We use that for a lot of the expenses in the registrar's office, and the registrar's office has far ahead some of the other offices and departments in the county because of that fund. It's a restricted fund that only I can allocate. We did a private act a few years back when Gokar was a House rep and Ketron was the senator, that allows me to be able to use these funds for other offices outside of my office. We've been working on trying to make this work and waiting for the right time, the right solution. I believe this particular solution, the state is also using Preservica is the product that we're looking at as a solution. It just ticked all the boxes for what we've been looking for since, I think I've been working on this since 2011. So I'm very excited about the project. I think it will take Rutherford County to a level far out surpassing any other county in the state, and I think it's well worth our effort. So I'm really in support of this.
Well, basically, this is a necessity for efficiency in your office, correct?
Across the county, not just the registrar's office. We've already done a lot of this in the registrar's office. This now affords this opportunity for other offices and departments in the county.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion, and Commissioner Harris, second.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? I want to say a couple of things. One, I want to say thank you.
You're welcome.
This, from all of us, because, I mean, this is helping every department. Now, that was my question as she was coming up. I said, I wonder, because I knew you had done similar things in the past, but again, thank you. And then I have a question. I know that state records laws at one time wouldn't allow us to use digital archives. Is that changed? You mentioned a change in the law. So how is that affecting our archives department and where we're having to keep up with, say, transfers out of all these other offices?
Yeah, so, excuse me. So the records laws are, to be honest with you, they're pretty inconsistent because there's a lot of, it really depends on the specific record series you're dealing with. So so that's why they take a lot of effort to kind of look into. But what this product will help the most is digitally born records that are never paper. So you've got to deal with records, and the state has softened their approach for a long time. If it was a paper record, going to digital couldn't be the way to preserve it. They've softened a lot on those. So this will help with those cases, but the biggest goal for this project is to address the records that are currently, they were created digitally. There is no paper record, and they're digital for their entire life. Now, of course, it will be useful for things that are scanned in and things that are created as paper and become digital. So yes, the rules have softened significantly in that area, but I feel honestly we've addressed a lot of those concerns. We kind of had that problem solved. The problem that we really didn't have solved was the records that they're just a database, they're unstructured records, and there is no paper to store somewhere or to scan or to convert to microfilm.
Right.
So this allows us to address the entirety of the problem and have a solution for the just absolute terabytes and terabytes of data that we have in the county.
And some of the other benefits, it is about efficiency, but it's also about should you have, in my lifetime I've seen us go from 8-track tapes to MP3s to Spotify. There's just all that change. Well, whenever you take data migration into consideration, it's very expensive to do usually. This is going to help us a lot on that. So the back end savings that are going to be available due to this solution are some of the things that really make me most excited, and also being in compliance with federal open records laws, being able to efficiently provide records for our constituents on a more timely basis. There's just so many benefits to this, and honestly, we've said this in Records Commission, Rutherford County is leading the way in records management, I think, across the state. And there's records management and also the archival side of things. We have a fantastic archivist and archives department. So I think we've got a lot to be proud of, but that doesn't mean we can't continue to improve. So that's what this project will allow us to do.
Okay, thank you both so much. Now, let's say you have a motion, I have a second. Any other discussion? Call roll, please.
Commissioner Johnson? Commissioner Piercy? Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris? Commissioner Irvin? Commissioner Peake?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you both. Item 23, property assessor reappraisal budget amendment. Michael?
So we have now, as the last commission meeting, the state comptroller gave a presentation. As part of that presentation, he mentioned that we would be receiving a bill for their services in the audit of our property assessor's office. We have received that bill, and so we have, I believe it's 40 or 45 days to pay that bill. If we don't pay that bill, they have the right to withhold state revenues from us, meaning sales tax, things like that, so that they can get paid. So tonight, what you have before you is an amendment to allocate money or appropriate money for me to be able to pay that bill.
You've heard the request. Do I hear a motion or questions for Michael? You're recognized,
Michael,
Commissioner.
is this the last bill we're getting, or is there any pending bills coming?
I have asked the comptroller's office if we would get any more bills, and they said not at this time. They said they were done with the bills. Now, I can't guarantee that they won't ever send one in the future, but at this time, they've told me this is it when I've asked them.
Commissioner Piercy.
Based on what the comptroller said and what else is being said, do we know it's right? Is it time to pay this bill? Because the way I understand it, we pay the bill if we're in the wrong.
So they did not give me an itemized bill necessarily, but we don't have the right to dispute it. If you wanted, and I'm not suggesting that we dispute it, if you wanted to dispute it, you would have to do that in a court. So by statute, I have to pay it when they send it within 40 or 45, I think it's 40 or 45 days, I can't remember. If I don't pay this in 40 or 45 days, regardless whether we agree with this bill or not, they're going to short our revenue, the state revenue that they send us. They will short it and essentially pay themselves out of our local money.
Thank you.
Motion to pay it on the 45th day.
I have a motion. Do you want to
Please
keep
Claire.
that date on there? I'd like to. What's
45
the
days from
range,
the
Michael?
date of the letter.
I'm not sure that, remember I said I wasn't sure if it was 40 or 45, and I'm not sure the day we got it because I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, the 40th day. So we can still draw interest from it.
I understand that. Would you restate that to say the
Okay,
the last?
motion to pay it.
Thank you. I have a motion. Do I hear a second? Second, Commissioner Johnson. And I understand where you're coming from, but that's like property tax. A lot of people will wait.
I will wait to pay it towards the end of when it's due. How about that?
Have
You're
we had any
recognized.
indication of like a report, work papers, anything along those lines? I'm just, it's kind of a curiosity.
They gave me 2 sheets with the bill. One sheet listed the statutory requirements of us to pay it. The second sheet was the invoice, and it listed 2 lines on the invoices. It listed the labor charge, and it listed their travel costs, and it did not give me a breakdown of those. I would be happy to email a copy of that bill to the committee if you would like.
No, it's more the overall report and the overall, things. And he promised that he would provide stuff to us, the comptroller. Hadn't seen it. I'm just curious if.
I think if we requested, he would send it.
I have, the only things that I have received, y'all have, I believe Nick sent you something. That is all I've received. I've received nothing additional to that from them.
Any further discussion? Call roll.
Commissioner Johnson? Commissioner Piercy? Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris? Commissioner Irvin? Commissioner Peake?
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to other business, and while we're on this, I don't have any other business other than what I'm fixing to bring up. Does anybody else have any other business? I want to get that out of the way first. All right, Michael, here's what I want to ask you. You may not be able to do anything tonight about this, but you were and the attorney were directed to come to the commission to give us a solution on how we're to proceed with the property assessors, the recommendations from the state. Have y'all got something you can tell us tonight, or you got to wait till the full commission?
I'd feel, we have been working on it, I will say that. I don't know that I feel comfortable tonight sharing our exact recommendation, because I don't know that we're ready to do that. I think we've been on the phone calls with the state all the last 2 weeks, Nick has. I will say we were asked to report on 3 items. One was, what does that look like going from the to the state system? The other was, what does it look like if we would like to hire an independent firm? And then Commissioner Cush asked us to look at, and specifically Nick, what does it look like for an ouster? What would that entail? And so I think we're prepared to talk about all 3 of those things. But as far as we're still waiting on some material, some quotes to give this body and then the full commission some options of where to go. So I don't have that with me tonight, so I don't know that I'm ready to answer those specifically tonight. I will say we will be ready Thursday night. I don't know that we're going to give a specific recommendation, but I think we're going to give the full commission options on which way y'all would like to go and potentially give you all the pros and cons of those options. I know that may not be the specifics of what you're looking for, but I think those are the 3 areas that we were requested to address, if I'm not mistaken. I think we'll be prepared to do so next Thursday night.
Well, my questions were directly toward the finances and not Commissioner Cush's recommendation. But if I wanted foreknowledge if we could get it.
And I'll say this, I don't know, we have reached out. The one thing I do know is we are under a current contract with that system. I do believe there's going to be an out. I'm speaking a little ahead of that. I will also add that the property assessor has been very helpful. He has not pushed back on us at all either, as far as when we've requested documents or contracts. So I'll add that as well. But it's really just kind of a time-consuming process, is looking out to see what contracts are what we're spending on this, and what the options are. But I don't have any firm quotes to give you tonight.
The only other thing I want to throw out, and this is a request from me, not necessarily from our committee. The committee, you may feel the same way, but one of the recommendations was for us to look at picking up the software that the state is using, and most counties are using in the state. And I had a short discussion with Michael about that. There may be some reasons to do that, there may be not. But my question is, and I want to find out from you and Nick Thursday, if we were to purchase the software and say, hey, this is what we want to do, and we can do that. I know we have a contract with the other people, but does that ensure that the property assessor would use it? I know that's a Nick question, but I'd like that settled before Thursday, and I'll, if possible, have that information available.
I think we'll be prepared to give the best answer we can to that Thursday. I think we've been asked that a couple times, and I've passed that on to Nick as well, the question you had. So hopefully we'll be prepared to answer that the best we can.
This is not a happy thing that we're talking about, but it's something that we need to. Are there any questions from the committee further on this point? Hearing none, that concludes our business for the night, and we're adjourned.